You know that feeling when people talk about Madagascar and it's all animated lemurs and DreamWorks movies like this massive island nation is just cartoon characters? Yeah, we're fixing that today. If you've landed on Passport Unfolded, you know we're not here to show you the same zoo animal photos or tell you Madagascar is just King Julian dancing. We're talking about the real Madagascar, the one where 90% of the wildlife exists nowhere else on Earth, where the limestone forests form razor-sharp spires you can walk through, where the baobab trees that look like they're planted upside down create surreal landscapes, and where the isolated evolution created the ecosystems found on no other continent. We're diving into the experiences from the TSINGY stone forests to the pristine islands where the humpback whales breed, from the rainforests hiding the world's smallest chameleons, to the spiny forests adapted to the desert conditions. So hit that like button and subscribe to Passport Unfolded, because we've got the destinations coming your way that prove Madagascar is way more than just the animated lemurs and the beach resorts. The Avenue of the Baobabs near Morondava features dozens of massive baobab trees lining a dirt road, creating Madagascar's most photographed landscape, where the ancient trees look like they're planted upside down with the roots in the air. The baobabs are over 800 years old, reaching 30 meters tall and 11 meters in diameter. The endemic Grandadier's baobabs, found only in Madagascar. The avenue was once part of a dense forest cleared for the agriculture, leaving these giants standing and creating this iconic scene. The best time to visit is at sunset when the golden light illuminates the trees and the long shadows stretch across the red dirt road, creating that National Geographic-worthy shot everyone wants. The sunrise also offers the beautiful light with fewer crowds than the sunset when the tour groups converge. Visit from April to November during the dry season when the roads are passable. The wet season from December to March makes the dirt roads muddy and difficult. The trees are threatened by the deforestation and the climate change, with the conservation efforts attempting to preserve them. Don't climb on the trees despite seeing others do it. The damage accumulates, harming these ancient organisms. The nearby Baobab Amuru shows two intertwined trees, creating the romantic photo opportunities. Would you photograph these trees that have stood for centuries? The TSINGY de BEMARAHA is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, where the limestone karst formations create razor-sharp pinnacles, forming the stone forest you navigate via the suspension bridges and the ladders, creating this otherworldly landscape. The word TSINGY means where one cannot walk barefoot in Malagasy, describing these sharp limestone spires formed by the groundwater erosion over millions of years. The reserve has two TSINGY areas: the Grand TSINGY, with the dramatic pinnacles requiring the technical climbing gear and the guides, and the Petit TSINGY, offering easier access with the maintained trails and the bridges. The Via Ferrata route through the Grand TSINGY includes the suspension bridges over the canyons, the ladders up the limestone walls, and the narrow passages between the spires, creating the adventurous experiences. The reserve protects 11 lemur species, the endemic birds, and the unique plants adapted to the harsh limestone environment. Visit from May to November during the dry season when the access is possible. The reserve closes during the wet season when the roads become impassable. The journey from Morondava takes a full day over the rough roads, requiring the 4x4 vehicles. Don't attempt this without the proper fitness and no fear of heights. The bridges and the ladders are secure but exposed. The landscape is genuinely unique globally. Have you walked through the stone forests? ISALO National Park features the dramatic sandstone formations, the deep canyons, the natural swimming pools, and the endemic wildlife, creating Madagascar's most accessible hiking destination with the landscapes resembling the American Southwest. The park's sandstone massif eroded into the canyons, the pillars, and the bizarre rock formations, with the oases hidden in the valleys, where the clear streams create the swimming pools surrounded by the palm trees. The Piscine Naturelle is the most popular swimming spot, requiring a 3-hour round-trip hike through the sandstone landscape. The Cascade de Nymphes offers another swimming hole with the waterfalls in a canyon setting. The park protects the ring-tailed lemurs easily spotted around the campsites and on the trails, plus the Vero's sifaka lemurs and numerous endemic birds. The hiking trails range from the easy walks to the challenging multi-day treks through the massif. Visit from April to November during the dry season for the best hiking conditions and the full waterfalls. The wet season sees the reduced water flow and the muddy trails. The town of Ranohira serves as the park entrance with the hotels and the guides available. Don't hike without a guide as it's mandatory and they know the trails, preventing you from getting lost in the maze of the canyons. The sunrise and the sunset light on the sandstone creates the spectacular photography opportunities. NOSY. Be off Madagascar's northwest coast is the main beach resort island where the diving, the snorkeling, and the island hopping create this tropical escape with better infrastructure than the mainland beaches. The island offers the diving and the snorkeling at the sites with the coral reefs, the whale sharks from September to November, and the manta rays year-round, creating the excellent underwater experiences. The Lokobi Reserve protects the island's remaining rainforest with the lemurs, the chameleons, and the endemic frogs accessible on the guided walks. The ilang-ilang plantations produce the essential oils for the perfumes. The island's nickname is Nosy Manitra, meaning scented island. The nearby Nosy Tanikali Marine Reserve has the excellent snorkeling with the sea turtles and the colorful fish in the shallow reefs. The Russian Bay offers the calm waters for the swimming and the water sports. Visit from April to December during the dry season, avoiding January to March when the cyclones can hit. The island sees more tourists than anywhere in Madagascar, meaning the higher prices and the less authentic experiences. Don't expect the pristine isolation. Nosy B is developed with the resorts, the restaurants, and the tourist infrastructure. The diving is genuinely good though, with the diverse marine life and the good visibility most of the year. Would you base yourself on the island for the diving excursions? ANDASIBE-MANTADIA National Park east of Antananarivo protects the rainforest where the Indrai, Madagascar's largest lemur, makes the haunting calls echoing through the forest, creating this iconic Madagascar sound. The park consists of two areas, the Analamaziotra Special Reserve with the easier trails and the guaranteed Indri sightings, and the Mantadaya National Park with the more challenging hikes and the pristine forest. The Indri lemurs are black and white with no tail, making the loud territorial calls every morning. The guides locate them by the sound, then position you for the viewing and the photography. The park protects 11 lemur species in total, including the diademed sifakas, the brown lemurs, and the nocturnal species visible on the night walks. The chameleons range from tiny to large, with the guides spotting them on the night walks when they're easier to find sleeping on the branches. The orchids and the endemic plants demonstrate Madagascar's botanical diversity. Visit from September to December for the best weather and the breeding season when the Indri are most vocal, though the park is accessible year-round. The proximity to Antananarivo, 3 hours by road, makes it the most accessible rainforest park for the travelers with the limited time. Don't expect the easy hiking. The trails are muddy and steep, requiring the reasonable fitness. The Indri calls are genuinely haunting and emotional, creating this connection to the forest. Would you wake early to hear the Indri chorus? RANOMAFANA National Park in the Southern Highlands protects the Montagny rainforest where the golden bamboo lemur discovered in 1986 lives, plus the waterfalls, the hot springs, and the exceptional biodiversity, creating this research hotspot. The park's trails wind through the dense rainforest with 12 lemur species, including the greater bamboo lemur, the red-bellied lemur, and, if you're extremely lucky, the Iai nocturnal lemur. The chameleons include the tiny Brookesia species, among the world's smallest reptiles, barely visible on the forest floor. The bird diversity attracts the serious birders with the endemic species found nowhere else. The hot springs in the village provide the relaxation after the hiking. The name RANOMAFANA means hot water. The park requires the guides who expertly spot the wildlife invisible to the untrained eyes. Visit from October to December for the best weather when the trails are less muddy and the wildlife is more active, though the wet season from January to March sees more lemur births. The park is remote, requiring a 10-hour drive from ANTANANARIVO, making it less visited than ANDASIBE. Don't expect the guaranteed sightings of the rare species. The golden bamboo lemur is elusive, and the II sightings require the dedicated night walks with luck. The research station welcomes the visitors interested in the conservation. The forest is genuinely pristine, rewarding the patient wildlife watching. ANKARANA Special Reserve protects the TSINGY formations similar to BEMARAHA but more accessible, plus the caves, the underground rivers, and 11 lemur species, creating this diverse ecosystem. The TSINGY here forms the smaller pinnacles and is easier to navigate than BEMARAHA's massive formations with the trails and the viewpoints accessible without the technical climbing. The underground river system creates the caves accessible on the guided tours, including the Grotta d'Andrafiabe with the bats and the underground pools. The suspension bridge spans a canyon, providing the views across the TSINGY landscape. The dry, deciduous forest between the TSINGY formations protects the crowned lemurs, the Sanford's brown lemurs, and the nocturnal species visible on the night walks. The baobabs grow among the limestone, creating the photogenic scenes. Visit from May to November during the dry season, when the cave exploration is safest and the trails are dry. The reserve is near ANTSIRABE, making it accessible as a day trip, though the overnight stays allow the more thorough exploration. Don't expect BEMARAHA's dramatic scale. ANKARANA is smaller but still impressive and far easier to reach. The combination of the TSINGY, the caves, and the wildlife creates the diverse experiences. The guides are essential for the navigation and spotting the wildlife camouflaged against the limestone. Would you explore the underground rivers in the limestone caves? The TSINGY ROUGE near ANTSIRABE features the red sandstone formations eroded into the pinnacles and the canyons, creating this colorful landscape different from the gray limestone TSINGY elsewhere. The red sandstone rich in the iron oxide has eroded into the spires, the gullies, and the Badlands-type scenery reminiscent of the American Southwest. The formations are softer than the limestone TSINGY, making them easier to walk through without the razor-sharp edges requiring the extreme caution. The landscape changes color throughout the day from orange at sunrise to deep red at sunset, creating the spectacular photography opportunities. The site is small compared to the major TSINGY reserves. You can explore it in 1 to 2 hours, making it a quick stop on the way to the other northern attractions. The lack of the vegetation emphasizes the geological features with the red formations contrasting against the blue sky. Visit year-round as the site is accessible even during the wet season, though the colors appear more vibrant when dry. The entrance fee supports the local community conservation efforts. Don't expect the extensive facilities. This is a simple site with the basic trails and no guides required. The proximity to ANTSIRABE makes it an easy addition to the northern Madagascar itineraries, combining with Amber Mountain and ANKARANA. The unique color distinguishes it from the other TSINGY, making it worth the short visit. MASOALA National Park protects the largest remaining intact rainforest in Madagascar, where the peninsula's isolation preserves the pristine forest meeting the ocean, creating this remote wilderness. The park covers over 2,000 square kilometers, accessible only by the boat from Maro and Setra, with no roads penetrating the peninsula. The marine park protects the coral reefs, the sea turtles, and the humpback whales visiting from July to September. The forest protects the red-ruffed lemur found only in the MASOALA region, plus 9 other lemur species, including the II. The helmet vanga and the other endemic birds attract the serious birders willing to make the effort reaching this remote location. The beaches along the peninsula offer the pristine sand with the rainforest growing to the tide line, creating this unique forest-ocean interface. The hiking trails require the guides and range from the beach walks to the challenging forest treks. Visit from September to November for the best weather when the seas are calmer for the boat travel and the forest trails are drier. The park requires the serious commitment with the expensive boat charters and the basic camping accommodation, creating the costs beyond most budget travelers. Don't expect the comfort. This is the wilderness camping in the tents on the beaches. The pristine nature justifies the effort for the dedicated nature enthusiasts. The remoteness preserves the wildlife behavior, undisturbed by the mass tourism. KIRINDY Forest, northeast of Morondava, protects the dry, deciduous forest, where the fossa, Madagascar's largest predator, can be spotted hunting, plus the giant jumping rat and numerous lemurs, creating this wildlife hotspot. The forest is privately managed as a research reserve with better wildlife viewing than many national parks due to the habituated animals and the knowledgeable guides. The fossa resembles a cross between a cat and a mongoose, hunting the lemurs in the trees. October to December breeding season offers the best sighting chances. The giant jumping rat is a rabbit-sized rodent hopping like a kangaroo visible on the night walks. The lemurs include the Verreaux's sifaka, the red-fronted brown lemur, and 8 nocturnal species visible on the mandatory night walks. The baobabs include several species, creating the photogenic forest scenes. The birding includes the endemic species like the giant kaua. Visit from April to November with October to December, offering the peak fossa activity during the breeding season. The forest has the basic camping accommodation and the simple bungalows, requiring bringing the supplies from Morondava. Don't expect the comfort, the facilities are rustic, focusing on the wildlife experiences over the amenities. The night walks are essential for seeing the nocturnal species, including the tiny mouse lemurs. The forest demonstrates the dry forest ecosystem distinct from the rainforests. Have you seen Madagascar's apex predator hunting? ANJA Community Reserve near Umbalavao demonstrates the successful community-based conservation where the local village protects the granite boulders and the forest, harboring a large ring-tailed lemur population, creating the accessible wildlife viewing supporting the community. The reserve was established by the village in 1999 to protect the lemurs in the forest, providing the sustainable income through the tourism. The ring-tailed lemurs are habituated, allowing the close viewing and the photography as the troops move through the rocks and the trees. The granite boulders create the dramatic landscapes with the climbing routes for the adventurous visitors. The chameleons and the endemic plants demonstrate the biodiversity in this small reserve, covering just 30 hectares. The guides are the village members who share the proceeds supporting the conservation and the community development. The hiking trails wind through the boulders and the forest with the varying difficulty levels. Visit year-round, as the reserve is accessible in all seasons, though April to November offers the best weather. The entrance fees are reasonable with all the money supporting the local community, creating this sustainable tourism model. Don't rush through treating it as just a quick lemur stop. Engage with the guides who explain the conservation story and the community benefits. The reserve proves the local communities can successfully manage the conservation when they benefit economically. The proximity to Ranahira and ISALO makes it an easy addition to the Southern Circuit itineraries. IFATY is the beach village near Tulear where the spiny forest meets the ocean, creating this unique ecosystem with the bizarre octopus trees and the barrier reef offering the excellent diving and the snorkeling. The spiny forest is an arid ecosystem with the plants adapted to the desert conditions, including the octopus tree with the spiny cucumber-shaped branches, the elephant's foot plant, and numerous thorny species endemic to southwestern Madagascar. The barrier reef 25 kilometers offshore creates the calm lagoon waters for the swimming and the windsurfing, with the outer reef offering the diving with the sea turtles, the rays, and the diverse fish. The beach has the white sand and the calm waters, though the strong winds make it popular for the kite surfing. The local village maintains a laid-back atmosphere with the beachfront bungalows and the seafood restaurants. The Reniala Reserve protects the spiny forest accessible on the guided walks, learning about the unique adaptations to the drought. Visit from April to December during the dry season when the winds are reliable for the water sports, though less extreme than the July to September peak. The diving requires the boat trips to the outer reef where the conditions are best. Don't expect the lush tropical rainforest. The spiny forest is harsh and thorny, but fascinating for its unique ecology. The sunset views across the Mozambique Channel are spectacular from the beach bungalows. ANAKAO is the fishing village south of Tuliar, accessible only by the boat, where the pristine beaches, the Vezo fishing culture, and the excellent snorkeling create this off-the-beaten-path beach destination. The village serves as a base for the local Vezo people who live primarily from the fishing, using the traditional outrigger canoes. The beaches have the powdery white sand and the turquoise waters with the minimal development, preserving a rustic atmosphere. The snorkeling at the nearby reefs reveals the colorful fish, the sea turtles, and the healthy coral. The NOSY V Island Reserve protects the red-tailed tropic birds visible from August to December during the breeding season. The village has the basic bungalow accommodation and the seafood restaurants serving the daily catch. The lack of the roads means arriving by the speedboat from Tuliar, taking 1 hour and creating this isolated escape. Visit from April to November during the dry season for the calm seas and the reliable boat transfers. The wet season can strand the visitors when the seas become too rough for the boat travel. Don't expect the extensive tourist facilities. ANAKAO maintains a genuine fishing village character. The Vezo culture provides the insights into the traditional maritime lifestyles. The pristine beaches reward those willing to make the boat journey from Tuliar. Would you visit a village accessible only by the boat? RAMENA Beach near ANTSIRABE offers the best beach near the northern city where the Emerald Sea Bay has the calm turquoise waters, the coral reefs, and a laid-back atmosphere, creating a convenient beach escape. The beach stretches several kilometers with the white sand and the calm, shallow waters perfect for the swimming. The Emerald Sea name describes the turquoise color created by the sandy bottom, reflecting the sunlight. The snorkeling at the nearby reefs accessible by the pirogue reveals the fish and the coral. The seafood restaurants serve the fresh catches, including the lobster and the crab. The Sunday market attracts the locals from ANTSIRABE, creating a lively atmosphere. The beach serves as a base for the boat trips to Sugarloaf Island and the other nearby attractions. Visit year-round as the bay's protection creates the calm conditions even during the wet season. Though April to November offers the most consistent weather, the proximity to ANTSIRABE, 18 kilometers, makes it accessible as a day trip, though staying overnight allows experiencing the quiet evenings after the day trippers leave. Don't expect the pristine isolation. The beach attracts the local visitors, especially on the weekends. The laid-back atmosphere and the convenient access make it ideal for the travelers wanting the beach time, without the extensive travel from the northern parks and the reserves. The simple bungalows provide the basic accommodation with the beach access. The royal hill of AMBOHIMANGA near ANTANANARIVO is the sacred hill where the Merina kings ruled before establishing the capital, creating this UNESCO-listed cultural site demonstrating the traditional Malagasy architecture and the royal history. The fortified royal city on the hilltop preserves the wooden palaces, the royal tombs, and the sacred sites demonstrating the 19th century Merina culture. The massive stone disc gate required 12 men to move it closed each night, protecting the royal compound. The royal palaces built from the precious woods have the minimal decoration, emphasizing the natural materials. The sacred forest protects the native plants used in the royal ceremonies. The site remains sacred to the Malagasy people with certain areas restricted, and the protocols observed by the visitors. The guides explain the royal history, the architecture, and the cultural significance. Visit year-round as the site is accessible in all weather, though the dry season from April to November offers the best conditions. The proximity to Antananarivo, 21 kilometers, makes it an easy half-day trip. Don't disrespect the sacred nature. Follow the guide instructions and observe the protocols. The site provides the context for understanding the Malagasy culture and the history beyond the natural attractions. The views across the highlands from the hilltop are spectacular. Antananarivo, the capital city called TANA, sprawls across 12 sacred hills where the Queen's Palace, the bustling markets, and the French colonial architecture create this chaotic introduction to Madagascar. Most travelers rush through heading to the nature destinations. The Rova Queen's Palace complex on the highest hill demonstrates the marina architecture, though the fire damaged the main palace in 1995. The Independence Avenue has the French colonial buildings in the central market selling everything from the zebu meat to the handicrafts. The lemurs park outside the city allows the close encounters with 9 lemur species in a botanical garden setting. The Avenue of Independence comes alive on the weekends with the street vendors and the crowds. The cuisine includes the Malagasy dishes like romazava beef stew and ravitoto cassava leaves with the pork. The city serves as the unavoidable hub with the international airport and the connections to all the regions. Visit year-round, though the dry season from April to November offers the most pleasant conditions. The traffic is absolutely chaotic with no apparent rules, creating the stressful navigation. Don't expect the beauty. TANA is gritty, polluted, and crowded, though it's culturally interesting. The markets and the street life provide the insights into the urban Madagascar life. Most travelers spend the minimal time here focusing on the natural attractions. ANTSIRABE in the Central Highlands is the thermal spa town where the colorful pousse-pousse rickshaws, the craft workshops, and the cool climate create this genteel escape from the coastal heat. The town developed around the thermal springs during the French colonial times, with the grand hotels and the wide boulevards, creating a European atmosphere. The pousse-pousse, painted in the bright colors, are the main transport, with the drivers offering the city tours. The gemstone workshops cut and polish the semi-precious stones found in the region, including the sapphires, the tourmalines, and the beryls. The miniature models workshop creates the intricate cars and the bicycles from the recycled materials, demonstrating the Malagasy creativity. The Lake Andrakiba and the Lake Tritriva nearby offer the scenic day trips, with the volcanic Lake Tritriva having the beautiful blue-green water in a crater. The local honey, the foie gras, and the cheese demonstrate the French culinary influence remaining from the colonial times. The cool highland climate contrasts with the hot coastal areas, making it pleasant year-round. Visit from April to November for the driest weather, though the elevation means the cooler temperatures always. The town serves as a pleasant overnight stop between Antananarivo and the southern destinations. Don't expect the major attractions. ANTSIRABE is about the atmosphere and the craft workshops rather than the monuments. The pousse-pousse culture creates the photogenic street scenes unique to this city. So there you have it. 20 ways to experience Madagascar beyond the cartoon lemurs and the resort beaches. Everyone assumes to find this island. Every recommendation shows you this island nation's incredible uniqueness as the world's 4th largest island that broke from Africa 165 million years ago, creating the evolution in isolation, producing the species found nowhere else on Earth. Madagascar is 90% endemic, from the 100+ lemur species to the chameleons ranging from tiny to massive, from the bizarre fossa to the iconic baobabs, demonstrating what happens when a landmass evolves in complete isolation. If this gave you ideas for Madagascar, smash that subscribe on Passport Unfolded, because we're exploring the destinations that reward those who venture beyond the easy beach resorts into the challenging parks showing this island's extraordinary biodiversity. Drop a comment telling me which Madagascar destination you're most excited to visit. Are you Team Lemurs and Wildlife? Team TSINGY and Geological Wonders? Or Team Beaches and Whale Watching? Until next time, keep exploring the places that prove the most interesting destinations are those that evolved differently, creating the ecosystems found nowhere else. And remember, the best travel experiences happen when you embrace the difficult logistics and the rough roads to reach the wildlife that makes Madagascar globally significant. Now get out there and see the real Madagascar beyond the movies. And the resort brochures showing you an island that's genuinely like nowhere else on Earth.